David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Here at HealthQuest, our high standard of health care doesn't come from a sickness care perspective, and neither should yours. And if you're not as healthy as you should be, and you're sick and tired of those health challenges, please call us. As we say here at HealthQuest, don't just stand there, do something. Do something good for yourself. Just this one time. This is Dr. David Kobaba. If you're like me and my wonderful HealthQuest staff, well, we know how much you love helping others in this challenging world of ours. Now, if you could raise your level of health and wellness, well then you could be of greater service to those you know and love. What a great perspective, but you've got to put this intention into action. So just don't stand there. Do something. Call our HealthQuest radio hotline right now, 1-800-794-1855. Do it now for yourself and a better future with higher health. 1-800-794-1855.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen's guest will be criminal defense attorney John Fairman. David's rant of the week, It's Not About the Person, It's About the Constitution, will open a discussion on what to expect if you use a firearm in self-defense, why you really want to avoid having your day in court, and how much it will cost. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600, or watch us live on YouTube, On Target Radio, or go to Facebook, like our page, On Target Radio, and ask a question there.
Not long ago, commenting on my expert witness work, someone rather tersely said, "How can you defend criminals?" While I do work on both civil and criminal firearm-related litigation, my reply was, I don't defend anyone. It wasn't the answer he was expecting. I began doing expert witness work in aviation during the 1980s. It was pretty straightforward stuff for the most part. No headline news, nothing controversial. Friends thought it was pretty cool, and to be candid, it was indoor work with no heavy lifting and really good pay. Back in the late 1990s, when I became a full-time international journalist, I stopped doing expert witness work for lack of time. In 2012, I met attorney Walter Maxson. I was sitting next to Walter at a Second Amendment legal symposium, and I remarked that a particular procedure seemed rather convoluted. Walter paraphrased Churchill and said, "The American legal system is the worst in the world, except for all the rest." Maxson was one of the most interesting people I've ever met. He was a free spirit, he thought outside the box all the time, and he was always ready to try something new. When he found out that I'd worked as an expert witness in aviation, he offered to retain me on an unlawful use of a weapon case. I thanked him for his offer, but I said I wouldn't be interested because I'm a conservative and I couldn't imagine defending a criminal. Walter replied, "Then you're not really a conservative. A real conservative strictly adheres to the Constitution, and it has quite a bit to say about protecting the accused." Over lunch, Walter schooled me on the Constitution. Of the 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights, 3 of them pertain to the rights of the accused. The Fourth Amendment is a guarantee against unreasonable search and seizure and requires that a search warrant be granted only with probable cause. The Fifth Amendment sets forth that the burden of proof lies with the prosecution and ensures that a person is not compelled to be a witness against himself. You know the sayings, innocent until proven guilty and the right to remain silent. There are two significant Supreme Court rulings in favor of protecting the accused. Escobedo versus Illinois in 1964 stated that a person has a right to have an attorney present when questioned by the police, and in Miranda versus Arizona in 1966, the court required the police to inform a suspect of his or her constitutional rights. The Sixth Amendment assures the accused gets a trial by jury of his peers. It was Gideon versus Wainwright in 1963, in which the Supreme Court said the government, at any level, must provide legal assistance to defendants who cannot afford their own lawyer. Walter summed it up by saying he realized that it appears the accused have more rights than the victim. Sometimes that's a risk you have to take for the innocent to go free, he said. William Blackstone, an 18th century English jurist, penned what would become the backbone of American jurisprudence. It is better that 10 guilty persons escape than one innocent suffer. Walter brought the point home with one simple question. How would you feel if you were charged with a felony you didn't commit? Walter pointed out that alleged criminals have rights, and how could it possibly be otherwise? One name stands out in my mind, James Bain. Bain spent 35 years in Florida prisons before the court finally agreed to a DNA test, which subsequently proved he was innocent. Not everyone who's charged with the crime is guilty of the crime, and the statistics bear that out. Overall, there have been nearly 2,000 exonerations since 1989. For instance, in 2016, there were 166 exonerations, ranging from drug possession to homicide. Worse, since 1973, 151 inmates have been released from death rows throughout the country due to evidence of their wrongful conviction. In 2003 alone, 10 wrongfully convicted defendants were released from death row. It begs the question, how many more inmates are innocent that we just don't know about? Ever since that discussion with Walter, I've had a philosophy which squares up my desire to not defend a criminal with doing the right thing. When someone gets in my face about working on a criminal defense team, I explain I don't defend anyone, but I do believe everyone has a right to have the truth told at their trial, at least insofar as I understand it to be. An attorney will give me the facts of the case, I'll study them, then give him my opinion. Sometimes I get hired, sometimes I don't, and I'm just fine with that. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
I had something pithy to say, but,
But
I was in the middle of typing something, and now it's gone.
It just unpithed.
It flew away.
It did indeed. Tonight's guest in our studio is John Fairman, the partner of Lee & Fairman, specializing in civil and criminal litigation. He spent years in public service in Chicago and Washington, D.C., with both the state and federal government. John has personally handled hundreds of civil and criminal cases and has built a reputation for always seeking fairness and justice in the courtroom. As a former prosecutor, John served as a Cook County Assistant State's Attorney in their felony review and municipal jury trial sections. In June of 2012, John was elected the youngest president of the Cook County Bar Association. John is also a good friend of mine, and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you again. It's been a couple months anyway since I've seen you. Things going well?
I can't complain.
Good. Has anyone ever said to you, because you do a lot of criminal defense, has anyone ever said that to you, you defend criminals?
Absolutely.
What do you say?
Absolutely. Or better yet, how can you go from, as they would say in the courtroom, from the light side to the dark side?
Yeah.
Because as somebody who loves the state's attorney's office, for my neighbor is the head state's attorney over for Cook County, from hiring large amounts of prosecutors, how do you go from this over to the other side? And my statement is, if the right thing happens, I think both are all on the same side in regards to wanting the right thing to happen. I think everybody is on the same side, and that is nobody wants somebody who is guilty going just free without any sanction or anything else. Based on the circumstance, maybe some type of rehabilitation. It could be deferred prosecution, but nobody wants somebody who is innocent going into jail or getting a sanction that they should not.
And I think, shockingly, there are a lot of, well, we don't know exactly, but there seems to be a pretty good number of people who are in jail that probably shouldn't be.
There is. You have people who are in jail who shouldn't be, and people who should be in jail who are not.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope. Every lawyer that I've worked with over the past, since 2012, whatever it is, maybe I've just been lucky, but they've all kind of had that same attitude that, you need to do the right thing by the person. Everybody should have an opportunity to have the truth told. Now, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. But it's only, I think, fair.
Yeah, and I have been lucky. I mean, I literally am considered to be, even from many of my friends who are in the state's attorney's office, pro-law enforcement. However, in the defense side, I've been lucky enough to represent who I consider to be, for the most part, good people who have, in many respects, screwed up, made a bad mistake, and there's something to be, a sanction to be had, but the issue becomes moving forward, or those who actually legitimately didn't do anything wrong but were arrested. I have, from majority of my clients, folks who are good, hardworking people. I think I've represented probably over at least 20 to 30 security guards, law enforcement folks over the past, 12 to 14 months alone. Now, those issues, I don't believe that they should have been arrested to begin with, but those issues in regards to where they had a FYD, had a gun, legally driving over through the state and get arrested and pulled over because their gun is not where it should be. Their weapon is in the glove compartment, and arguably speaking, it's considered to be not locked. It's underneath the seat, and they don't have conceal and carry. If I may say this, for anybody who has an FYD, if you don't have conceal and carry yet, you need to get it. Even if you don't think you do or will not use it, it's a safety precaution, because when you're sitting there driving through, when you're sitting over there having it or coming from the range, it is that precaution where you can sit there and put it underneath the seat or have it over on your person for safety reasons, or sit there and transport it in the car, and there's no issue if you sit there and get pulled over on a stop to whether or not that glove compartment is locked or unlocked.
Sure. And we know a place where they could get it.
Yeah.
Just
or
throwing
the
that.
class. They could get the class.
Just throwing that out, that there is a place that you could get it.
There's a really good company that gives the class for concealed carry.
Yeah, it's true.
I like to know who's the better teacher, though. I'm curious.
Oh, she shamelessly throws candy at people when they get an answer right.
And
then I have to follow that.
He's popular, too, though. It sounds like people are in a Second City performance when he's teaching.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about if you use a firearm to defend yourself, what can you expect is going to happen? Not in court. We're not even getting there. Just what's going to happen to you then or on the spot. So all that and more when we return with On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center.
I'm Eddie Manzano in the Balance of Nature Traffic Center. Not too much happening this evening. The roads are relatively clear at the moment and problem-free on the inbound Kennedy. Slight delay from the extension of Canfield, O'Hare to downtown at 22. On the outbound at 20. On the inbound outbound Ike, flowing freely from Thorndale to the post office at 29 minutes. Inbound Dan Ryan, your problem is from Roosevelt to the Circle, 95th to downtown at 17. On the outbound at 15 minutes. No delays on the Stevenson inbound and outbound from 55 to Lakeshore Drive at 34 minutes. Looking good on Lakeshore northbound and southbound, as well as the suburban tollways and the Indiana toll roads, as well as the Bishop Ford and 57 inbound and outbound. It is currently 62 degrees with fog and mist tonight, a low of 62 with patchy fog and a chance of showers tomorrow Monday, a high of 69. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Do you remember the race and class of D&D character that you you chose as a young girl playing D&D?
Yeah,
with your
in my
friends?
mom's basement.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
I remember thinking the Dungeons and Dragons crew was just a little off.
It's collaborative. You create this world and you make of it what you will.
That sounds
in collaboration with your other nerd friends who are also not going to prom.
Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com.
Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
Now return to On Target on AM560. The Answer. If you have a question or opinion, the studio line is 312-642-5600. Now, here's your host, firearm expert and educator, David Lombardo.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Our guest this evening is John Fairman, a criminal defense attorney, and we are talking. We were just talking a little bit about defending criminals and sort of the philosophy behind it. But what I really want to talk about is, so I pull out my gun, and in my opinion, I am lawfully defending myself. Someone is offering me force that's likely to, is this right, Gretchen? Likely to or intended to cause great bodily harm or death.
Or death, yep.
And so, squeeze off 2 rounds, boom, down goes the guy.
You're talking theoretically. You haven't done that recently, right?
Well, I if we get into an argument, that may change. But as it stands right now, you're still on the friend list. Although, would you like to be on Hillary's friend list? But no, if you, and there is a certain amount of geopolitics involved here, because I think what happens next would be somewhat different in Will County or Kendall. I mean, not a lot different, but somewhat different. Wouldn't you agree, Gretchen? I mean, there's a different mindset.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just from the stories that we hear, reading the newspaper and, hear firsthand from people that you talk to.
It's definitely completely different. If you look to, I am originally born and raised in Houston, Texas, and you look to the aspect of the land or the property aspect. If somebody comes onto my property, I have the ability to sit there and defend property. If somebody comes into your house, you don't know whether or not they have a gun or not. And so the issue becomes you don't know if they have a gun, if they're going to a gun and coming back. You have the right to sit there and shoot. You're defending yourself, property, and everything in there. The issue becomes over for a lot of cases that have happened over in Cook County would be if that person is not armed, you can only combat lethal force where the person is using lethal force. And so that is they're coming towards you with a knife, or they have a gun, or you think they have a gun. And that issue becomes somebody comes in, they rob you, they don't have a gun. They're just using physical force. You get your gun and you shoot. The issue becomes, well, you use deadly force on somebody who was not. Now, my Texas side comes out and says, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have been in my house to begin with. I don't know what you're coming to or going from. You shoot. You protect yourself as well as your household. For issues that have arisen in Cook County, that becomes a problem because they didn't have deadly force. They were combating, it was only physical force. They never showed a gun, never showed a knife. Yes, they tied everybody up in the house. Yes, they were sitting over there robbing you and leaving out. Well, that deadly force becomes a problem. I think, yes, that's a huge issue between whether or not if you're in Will County or Kane County, because I think they would adopt a more conservative approach, that Texas-style approach that says you protect yourself.
Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We're talking about what happens if you use a firearm in legal defense of yourself. Now, people, when we teach classes, it's hard to impress people with this. Somebody in the state of Illinois, somebody can break in your house, you shoot them in your house, and you can go to jail. That can happen.
Are you in Kane County or Cook County?
Well, and there is that. You're in Cook County.
So legally speaking, I mean, that rule is you can only combat lethal force, or use it, if that force is being used upon you. So if that person has a gun, if that person has a knife. Now, there's a strong argument to sit there and say if you have a female who is 5'1", 5'2", and you have a male who's substantially larger. Now that force, his fist or bat or whatever he has, now her gun may be considered to be, because his is lethal, that may be considered reasonable. Like I said, a lot does depend on where you are in regards to location and how that's looked at. I suggest that for that person who has a gun in their home, who will defend themselves, who should defend themselves, your response should something like that happen is, I thought they had a gun. I don't know if they had a gun. I thought they were running to a gun. I was in fear for my life. I protected myself.
Sure. It's the other kind of part of this equation is if you're married and you have kids. So if you possess a firearm that's accessible, not locked up and secured in a safe, but accessible, and your spouse doesn't have a FOID card and you're not home, is that not in and of itself an issue?
So you're not home, somebody comes into it, and that is, let's give the example, and that is, I have my gun in my glove compartment. My wife takes my car, and is that an issue? It is a potential issue in a sense because they don't have an FOID card, they don't have conceal and carry, they're transporting that, and it becomes whether or not they knew or should have known that was in there. My suggestion for folks, I sit there and tell my wife, which now she knows she only takes her vehicle, and that's because I have mine. I have a weapon in my glove compartment box, and I keep it locked over in there. I do because the easy access is the only reason why. But if I'm transporting, depending on where I'm at, then I unlock it because of safety issues. But yeah, it's a problem.
We generally tell people that if anyone of legal age in a house with their firearms should get a FOID card.
Absolutely.
That's the good thing in Illinois is there's actually no minimum age for FOID in Illinois. So that's
true.
That's the only good thing about the FOID that I can maybe think of is that is that even a 10-year-old child could have a FOID card potentially, and if the child knew how to use a gun in self-defense and needed to, they could do that.
We have a caller. Abraham is on the line. Abraham, are you there? Abraham?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there you are. How you doing?
Good. How about you? How are you guys doing tonight?
Fine. Do you have a question?
Yes, it's regarding with the no gun signs. I know the state law has, as a section of it, what is a valid no gun sign. So, if a business, as a private business, does not have the valid no gun sign, is that enforceable or is that not enforceable in a court of law?
Okay, thank you very much for your call, Abraham.
Well, the issue becomes if you don't have a sign, there's certain things or entities that are exempt. So, you're talking about schools or government buildings, but for a private business, if you do not want somebody coming in with a gun, then yes, you need that sign up, just something simple as a gun with a cross out saying, or explicit saying, no weapons inside the vicinity. Otherwise, yes, you could easily have somebody with conceal and carry come inside. But, from a conservative standpoint, from mine, it would be honest with you, most folks who I'd say have conceal and carry, from the folks I've sat there and worked with, I'd say if you get robbed, that's the person you do want in there with that if you have a private business, depending on what type of business you have.
Sure. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We also have Bill on the line. Bill, how are you doing this evening? Bill in Evanston.
I'm good. David. How are you and Gretchen?
We're doing good.
Very well.
Good. I didn't really have much to add to the conversation. You and Gretchen and Mr. Fairman seem to have all the bases covered quite well. But I was calling to paraphrase Charles Osgood and say that it's nice to see you on the radio again, David.
And that's literally true, seeing us on the radio. Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
What I will add to what Bill is saying is it seems like the Facebook video feed is not working, but the YouTube feed is working. So if anybody's trying to watch us, go to YouTube/OnTargetRadio and you can see us.
That's it. That's good. So we just got about a little over a minute in this segment, but if you shoot somebody in self-defense, as they say in the movies, you're going to take a ride downtown, basically. I mean, they're not going to just high-five you and say, good shoot, and give us a call tomorrow if you think about it.
Well, one, as you pointed out, maybe that will depend on the location. It also depends on facts and circumstances. If somebody sits there and comes in with a gun or threat of a gun and you shoot, be honest with you, there is no crime that's been committed, by you.
You've got proof that he had lethal force.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But, I've taken an extra step over my house, and that is, from video camera, from ring the doorbell and so forth, because, in today's time, I do want to know what's going on in and around over for the home. But that is that extra precaution and safety as well, because all you have to do is just sit there and replay.
Sure, exactly. And it's basically the same thing on the street. If somebody accosts you, you're in a gas station, whatever it is, I mean, if they actually have a weapon, then you're on pretty safe ground. But in the case of, and it's not just necessarily a weapon, in the case of a 5'2" female against a 6'6", 300-pound guy. So I think
but let me caution this, because the threat of a crime could be a sit-down problem as well. So I'd like to speak about that over afterwards to protect people.
What we'll do is when we return, we're going to talk about that and more on Target Radio. And you're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris DeMeo. The White House stepping up its verbal attacks against Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. President Trump's trade advisor Peter Navarro telling Fox News Sunday Trudeau engaged in bad faith diplomacy when discussing U.S. trade policy.
To my friends in Canada, that was one of the worst political miscalculations of a Canadian leader in modern Canadian history.
The president tweeting, Justin acts hurt when called out, referring to the Canadian Prime Minister. Well, gas prices remaining fairly steady over the past 3 weeks.
The high in this panel is once again San Francisco, $3.81 for a regular, and the low is Baton Rouge at $2.54.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg says the national average is up 2 cents now at $3.01 a gallon. She says a drop in crude oil prices has not been seen at the pump. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center.
Eddie Manzano in the Balance of Nature Traffic Center. Not too much happening in and around the city. Just a couple minor delays on the extension eastbound. Slight delay from Bessie Coleman to the Tri-State. No delays on the westbound side of the extension. On the inbound Dan Ryan, stop and go from Roosevelt to the Circle, 95th to downtown at 17. On the outbound flowing freely at 15 minutes. No delays from the Circle all the way to the Skyway. Here are some local travel times for you on the Edens. Inbound and outbound Lake Cook to the Junction at 19 minutes. Kennedy inbound O'Hare to downtown at 22 from the Junction 10. Express lanes closed for overnight maintenance on the outbound to O'Hare from downtown at 20 minutes. Ike inbound and outbound Thorndale to the post office at 29 minutes, and the Stevenson in either direction 55 to Lakeshore Drive at 34 minutes. It's currently 62 degrees, fog and mist tomorrow Monday, a high of 69 with a chance of showers. Next update in 15 minutes on AM 560 The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Why are you checking your phone? There's no game on.
Aw, man, I'm so sorry. Let me just finish this up. There, I placed a trade for tomorrow morning. Boom.
Wow, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, I've been taking classes at Online Trading Academy.
Really?
Yeah, I've just been feeling really stuck trying to get ahead. Online Trading Academy has taught me some really great skills, and I'm loving it. It's almost like having a second paycheck without having a second job.
It's Online Trading Academy?
Uh-huh. They're the world leader in teaching people how to become traders and investors.
I'm an ordinary guy. Do you think I can do this?
What do you think, I'm extraordinary or something? I mean, of course. I was just glad I signed up for their free class. It's great. They go over everything, and they'll show you all the different ways to make money in the market.
Now I don't have to ask my boss for a raise. I'll just give myself one.
Come to Online Trading Academy's next free half-day class. Call 888-984-TRADE now. They'll send you a free online video course so you can get started right away. 888-984-8723 or OTAChicago.com. 888-984-TRADE.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer, with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
So let's quickly touch on where we left off in the last segment.
Well, for one, a lot of people don't realize that whether or not you have FOID or conceal and carry, if you have a misdemeanor, that means 0.1, 0.2 grams of cannabis or any other type of drug on you that's in a controlled substance, that's a felony. That's a class 4 felony. A lot of people don't realize that. And so they'll have their weapon on them. They'll have, if it's in the car, whether the issue comes down whether you knew or should have known, you can be charged with a felony. It's several different nuances in there, but that's a big one that I've seen people charged with every now and then.
When we teach concealed carry, I always talk about you really don't want your day in court. And here's your day in court. You hire the best attorney you can afford who is so bad he works out of his kitchen and no one will hire him in a law firm. And you're going before a state's attorney who looks at your case and he's up for re-election and he goes, oh, I'm going to put this guy in the slammer. It'll be above the fold in the Tribune. I'm going to get reelected. It's in front of a judge who was just gotten into an argument with her spouse before he took the bench, and it's being heard by 12 people not smart enough to get out of jury duty. And so, I mean, when you go to court, you're rolling the dice. I mean, realistically, you're rolling the dice. Are you not?
Harsh, isn't he? That's harsh.
Somebody has coffee.
But the point that I am truly trying to make, I like to make fun of it, make it interesting, but the point is, it is not black and white stuff.
Well, a good attorney from both sides does matter. I mean, the reality it does in regards to the work you put in, what you know, how you know it, and how you go and carry yourself about. I think somebody brought up right before while we were on break, and that is you always want an attorney who is there, a part of that courthouse, who's there on a regular basis. Local, well-liked, well-respected.
Yeah.
Because that's somebody who the state knows is not going to BS, screw them around. They're going to be straightforward, as well as the judge. And so it's a lot easier to sit there and resolve and know exactly what you're facing and how to get something accomplished. One mistake a lot of people make is you're sitting over there going downstate or Kane County, and you want to get this hotshot attorney from another county and bring them in. They know nothing about that system or structure. Exactly. And they're going to treat them like an outsider because they are.
Because he is an outsider. And the other thing, too, is this is not, they always talk about speedy trial. But, I mean, I'm on cases that have been going for 4 years. Things come up, it's a very fluid situation. And here's the worst part of it is psychologically. You're the person being charged. And it drags on for a year, 2, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've got 2 cases that have gone 4 years. Imagine the pressure on that individual over that period of time.
Yeah, and you do get some of the larger cases that will last, 1, 2, 3 years or, even 4 years, depending on the type of case. And as I'll sit there and explain over to clients for the major cases, and that is, this is not something you want to sit there and take fast. This is not something you want to get over very quick and easy. You want that attorney to sit there, dot their I's, cross their T's, and make sure they're getting every single thing the state has, but doing whatever thing they can on every motion, anything that needs to be litigated and done over for it. That's not something, it's not a misdemeanor case that can be over with, and one day you go into court and it takes an hour or 2, or even a bench trial for a misdemeanor case that really this entire case can be wrapped up in 1 or 2 court days. Sure. It's not a big issue. Or for that small felony case, it can be wrapped up in 2 to 3 court days.
Yeah.
For the large ones, that they can drag on, but that becomes in regards to making sure, as a defense attorney, you get every single thing the state has. Make sure you litigate every single aspect of the case you can. Protect your client.
Yeah, there's two things I think people really need to understand. The first thing is you have to tell your lawyer everything. Yeah. I mean, you can't. It's client privilege, so but because the worst thing is it shows up in court and the lawyer didn't know it was coming. That's a nightmare. And the second thing is you never put it in writing. You don't send confessions or whatever to your lawyer in email because that's all discoverable.
For the felony cases, that is, for absolutely discovered. You want to go in, you want to tell that attorney every single aspect. I think the worst mistake a lot of young attorneys make, and that is you'll bring the client in and they'll come in with their mom or their girlfriend, and they will tell you what they told them. Why? Because they're sitting right next to them. Sure. And if you're lucky, they'll send you a message to say, hey, can I come in or can we talk? And then they'll say, well, this is what happened. If you're lucky. I've seen some cases where you'll sit there and go through, and I think it was a Class X case I'm sitting there working on. I go into the back, I'm in lockup. I speak with the client for about an hour, get the entire story, make notes about 2 pages. And this guy's looking at a minimum of 6 years prison. I sit there and go in, and about a year into the case, send one of the associates over. They do a jail visit, and it comes back with something that was completely different than every single thing. The entire strategy case just completely changed and so now the issue is, are you telling us the truth?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it becomes a lot harder to sit there and defend that person. Also, they've lost your trust, in them.
Sure. And I think what people don't always understand is sometimes what I see as a negative thing that I don't even want to tell you, if you come out with it the right way early on, you diffuse the potential problem.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a break again. We're going to be back, and when we return, we're going to talk about what is all this going to cost. And we also have some callers on the line that we'll get to when we return with more On Target Radio. And you're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the Balance of Nature Traffic Center.
Good evening. I'm VG Lozano in the Balance of Nature Traffic Center. Delays on the inbound Dan Ryan are slow from Roosevelt Road to the Byrne Interchange, heading for an 18-minute trip downtown. Inbound Eisenhower slows from Ogden Avenue towards the downtown area. Eastbound side of the O'Hare extension slowing down between Bessie Coleman and the Tri-State Tollway. And if you're heading northbound on the Veterans Memorial, Watch out for road construction in the left lane is causing a slow delay between Mountain Toll and Ogden Avenue. Towards the Northbrook area, there's a crash at Shermer and Meadow Road. In Bartlett, a crash at Route 25 and Bartlett Road. In the Darien area, Cass Avenue is shut down between 73rd and 71st on due to serious injury crash there. The rest of the expressways and tollways are moving along just fine this morning. Your current Chicago forecast is a low around 62 for your Monday morning, a high around 70 Monday night, a low around 64. Your next update in 15 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
The Republican tax bill that passed in 2017 is great news for retirement savers with 401ks and IRAs. These lower tax rates make it a great time to convert the growth on these accounts from taxable to tax-free. For example, Section 7702 of the IRS tax code allows you to convert your IRA or 401k into a plan that effectively eliminates the tax consequences associated with drawing income from these accounts and also the required minimum distributions. This strategy can also provide lifetime income and a death benefit for beneficiaries. It can even be used to cover college costs or provide long-term care, all without risk from market losses. And unlike an IRA or 401k, there are no limitations on the amount you can contribute. This strategy is complex and can create other tax implications. For your free custom report and to find out if you qualify, contact Kelly Financial Services at 708-576-8999, 708-576-8999, or visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
All right, we got on the line Scott, a retired homicide detective who has a pithy piece of advice for all of us. Scott, how are you doing this evening?
I'm fine.
Go ahead, pass it on. We say this in class all the time.
Well, it's been my experience, and I was a homicide detective for 10 years, that if you're involved in a situation where you shoot somebody, be it in your home or on the street, and it's a case of self-defense, you very respectfully tell the officer or the detective that's at the scene, you'll be glad to tell them everything that occurred right after you talk to your lawyer.
Absolutely, because anything you say prior to that is
usable.
Is admissible evidence, yeah.
Exactly.
And it will be used against you.
Yep. I always tell students that, and I appreciate your call, Scott. Thank you very much. I always tell students that this is what you want to do. You want to say, because it's going to really look bad if you go, pig, I don't need to tell you, right? So I say to the guy, look, I want to help you. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I'm shaken up. I'd like to be seen by a doctor just to be sure I'm okay. Because there have been people who have been shot, didn't know it. And then I want to talk to my attorney, and then I'll do everything I can to help you fill out your report. You're positive, you're not being negative, and as soon as you say that, I want to talk to my attorney, John.
Yeah, I'd say the number one thing people have a problem with is when you're approached by law enforcement in any circumstance, they're doing the job. Be respectful, because not being respectful causes a whole other problem.
Exactly.
But I think that was great advice in the sense of, you do want to speak with your attorney first.
And I totally agree with that. Also, one quick one. We got Pete here, who is from Cicero. Pete, how are you doing this evening? Oh, we picked you up a little bit late. What'd you say?
Yeah, I was just saying I'm doing fine. How's everyone?
Good. We're doing fine. So you had a comment that we were a little we didn't quite understand. What is it?
Well, see, I'm qualified to work armed security, and the last time I went through a requalification course, one of the instructors was associated with Cook County and the first thing he said is, if you pull a gun, we're going to find a way to put you in jail.
Was he a Cook County deputy?
I believe he was.
He's saying if you pull a gun while at work for any reason?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're a licensed security guard, state of Illinois.
Yes, sir.
That's probably true, though. I mean, they probably are going to try, and that's what he told him. That's what he told Pete, is we're going to do everything we can to make that happen, and that's probably the truth.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting over there pulling a gun, the issue becomes if it is I go back again. I would sit there and approach it in the sense of, unless it's a life-threatening issue over for it, use your force, use a security badge, the muscle to sit there and detain them over. But if it becomes a problem thereafter, I would not, if I were you, sit there, especially while you're sitting over dealing with Cook County, pull your gun over to stop somebody who's doing something over in the hospital, unless somebody's life is at issue or threatened. Then you do what you have to do.
I appreciate the call, Pete. Thank you. One of the things that I wanted to be sure that we talked a little bit about is how much all this ends up costing you. So if you go for a criminal defense, like let's say you used your firearm and you feel you legally defended yourself, but the state's attorney disagrees and he takes you to court. I don't know that people really understand how much this stuff costs.
Well, I think it's safe to say probably for most counties, at least collar counties for Cook as well as Cook for folks who know what they're doing, if you are charged with, at a bare minimum, aggravated UUW, as well as you're saying in regards to using a self-defense, that could lead to anywhere from, attempt murder than anything else, because somebody may be hit or they're shot at. You're looking at, for just a basic ag UUW, somewhere between, or aggravated unlawful use of a weapon or possession, probably anywhere between $4,000 to $8,000 minimum just for that, for somebody that knows what they're doing, has been doing it for a while. If you're sitting there talking about an attempt murder, you're talking about somewhere between 15 to, I know anywhere between 15 to 50,000.
And I said 50,000 is what I quoted. And I tell people, as an expert, I'm getting $350 an hour. What do you think the attorney's getting?
Yeah. If you're getting somebody who truly knows what they're doing and it's on an attempt murder, your bare minimum is going to be sitting over there somewhere around 30,000.
And then if you're going to go to the appellate court,
that you might as well sit there and go on add on at least another 25,000.
Exactly. So it's not cheap.
10,000 just to file probably.
Yeah. And the reason I bring this up is because I don't want to characterize people the wrong way, but people come into class and there is a somewhat of a mentality that I'm going to put a gun on and somebody threatens my life.
There's a little bit of machismo in many cases.
And we preach what we call left to bang, which is a book. But left to bang, let's not shoot the gun. What can we do to avoid getting in the situation? Yes. And I've had a few people go, oh, well, what are you, a chicken?
They don't like that approach.
They don't like that approach, Not a lot.
One thing that you said during one of the breaks that I want to make sure we don't miss is talk about what you said about the class 4 felony. If you have a gun on you and you get into a situation.
Yeah, there's a section over for the Ag UW section. That is, you have a gun on you, you have FOID, you have conceal and carry, but it is it's an assault or the use of the threat of force or the use of force. It could be a battery or the threat of some type of violence, and you have that gun on you. That could lead over to a class 4 felony. Now, I have not seen that charge. I'll be honest with you. I didn't realize that it was there. It's never come up through all the situations, the thousands I've dealt with, but that's a possible problem. So for those who are in that situation, my suggestion is be calm, hold back, especially if you have your weapon anywhere on you.
Okay, we're going to have to take a break again. When we come back, Gretchen is going to give you the action items for the week coming up. You're all set for that, aren't you? And so we will be back after these messages with more on Target Radio, and you're listening to AM 560.
The Answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometric's secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
As you approach retirement, it's important to determine the amount of income you can receive from Social Security. Depending on when and how distributions are taken, you may be able to optimize the benefits you're eligible to receive, particularly among married couples. Call Jack Debota today to get a copy of his informational booklet, The Social Security Decisions. This informational booklet presents the facts about Social Security distribution options to help you determine when and how to begin taking distributions, so you may receive more income over the course of your retirement. To receive your Social Security Decisions informational booklet, call Jack at 630-777-7955 or visit Debota.com. That's TEBODA.com. Get the most out of your Social Security benefits. Call today, 630-777-7955.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Debota & Associates are not affiliated companies. Debota & Associates is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer, with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Join On Target Radio at NRA Day at the ISRA Range this Saturday, June 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the ISRA Range in Bondfield. Why should you attend NRA Day at the ISRA Range? There are many reasons. Let me just remind you, I'm going to do these really fast. Free admission and free parking, shooting activities for the entire family, covered firing points, no charge to rent guns. Manufacturers will be on hand to let you shoot their guns for free. You just pay for the ammunition. No FOID card needed. Nearly every shooting discipline will be available for you to try. Air rifles, archery, .22 pistols, handguns of many calibers, shotguns, rifles, even muzzle loaders. Everyone gets a safety briefing and hearing protection. You'll have a shooting coach with you for each different gun you try. A peek inside the Illinois State Rifle Association range, which is a private range. Rare vintage military vehicles on display and military reenactors. You can even try your hand at axe throwing. I know I mentioned the covered firing points, but virtually every part of this event is under a roof or a tent, so NRA Day goes on, rain or shine. Maybe you will even get to be in a video we are making for the ISRA. We will see you at the open house on June 16th. The following Safe for USA classes are at our facility in Waterman. Saturday, June 16th, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. Sunday, June 17th, Introduction to Tactical Carbine, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
So, Mr. Fairman, if somebody right now is sitting in the bedroom in a corner whimpering because they just blasted somebody into creation and they're listening to this and they go, I got to get a hold of this guy, Fairman. How do they get a hold of Fairman?
They can either go to johnfairman.com or you can call me directly over at the office at 708-799-4848. But I guess the easiest way to just put my name over in Google and, it should come up. I'm old, so it's there.
For those of you who are members of the Illinois State Rifle Association, you can read, I did a feature article on John, was the last issue.
It was spring 2018.
Spring, so it would have come out whenever, probably
April, March.
Something like that, yeah. We actually like him. He's a lawyer, but we like him. He's a good guy. And we went through this entire show, and we didn't once talk about You Almost Ran for Sheriff, which might be worth a good show just on the subject of Cook County, because we have a lot of Cook County listeners.
That'd be an interesting show.
If you're willing to come back.
I am.
We could just talk about politics in general one time.
That's true.
That'd be a whole show. That's a couple of shows.
Yeah. Oh, you know it
With
is. You know it.
What, in Cook County? How could that be? I don't know. It was great to have you on, and we need to stay in touch because you are a good guy, and our mutual friend. We can always talk about John, the other John.
Do you have a motorcycle?
Me, I do not. I do not.
Oh, okay.
My wife would not let me get one.
Oh, okay. Because we're cooking something up involving motorcycles.
That's true. We are. Anyway, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to On Target Radio, and particularly thank John Fairman for taking the time to be with us tonight. Next week, our guest is Dan Eldridge, owner of Maxson Shooting Supply and president of the lobby group of Federal Firearm Licensees of Illinois, which is a real hot issue going on in Springfield right now.
We'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board, Eric Allen, our video producer, and hopefully next week we can list your business name right here as a sponsor of On Target Radio. Learn how you can be a sponsor partner for a lot less than you'd imagine. Call 815-741-3474 for details.
And finally, please go to Facebook and like our page On Target Radio. Tell your friends about us and be sure to listen to us next week. That's the only way we know how many people listen is if you give us some likes. So we really do want you to go and like us on Facebook, please. It will help us in the long run. And again, be back next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.